overall, what stands out? What's your biggest, I don't know, headline to watch, moment to watch in Steelers Ravens?
Yeah, no Marcus Peters is really interesting to me personally. No Calais Campbell as well, right?
Yep.
So I mean, this Baltimore defense has been rock solid over the past. They've really been playing good football really since they acquired um, Roquan Smith. So not having those guys in the lineup is in my opinion massive. I mean, this was the best defense that they were going to play over the second half of the season. And now they're going to be down several starters. Without Marcus Peters, I mean, it's kind of like a who's who of guys. They've got a bunch of veteran guys. Daryl Worley, Kyle Fuller went on IR earlier this season. Jalen Armour Davis, rookie from Alabama, he's on IR, I think, as well. It's Brandon Stevens, who the Steelers have seen before, longer type of cornerback, and then Kevin Seymour. So it's really really thin in the secondary, which I think matches up really good for the Steelers. You look at their last matchup for all of the untimely turnovers that Trubisky had. The Steelers were able to move the ball pretty much at
Yep.
will through the air. I mean, we saw George Pickens lighten up Marlon Humphrey. They did a lot of good things on offense in terms of just moving the football. It was just the untimely turnovers when they got into Raven territory that kind of costed them that game. So, um, you know, overall, I think the Marcus Peters injury to me is pretty massive. The Calais Campbell one, is equally probably as important in terms of establishing the running game, but I think they have better depth up front than they do probably in the back end at this point of the season.
Yeah, Marcus Peters to me is a name that is huge because Marlon Humphrey came out and said it after the game last time that George Pickens had his
Cook,
number. Yeah,
cook.
cooked. And he did. He did cook. So that's the question is you head into this game, do you think that it'll be more heavily focused on stopping George Pickens, or do you think that Humphrey is going to play them both, play Diontae, play George? And at that point, can anybody in that secondary stop the other who isn't on Marlon Humphrey?
Yeah, I mean, I expect a lot of zone coverage. The last time that these two teams played, um, the Ravens ran a lot more man coverage than they had really all season. Particularly just like through the course of the game. They were in man coverage on 43% of the snaps. That's definitely higher than their typical rate. And Diontae Johnson talked a little bit about this week how he thinks that a lot of teams have been playing them man to man, but they're starting to beat teams out of that. And man coverage can mean a lot of different things about your personnel or what they think of your quarterback or anything like that. In terms of the Steelers, there's just not a lot of teams right now that I feel like are going to feel super comfortable about having two guys on the outside that are going to be capable of handling Diontae Johnson and George Pickens. So
What do you think is the factor? You just said that teams playing man to man says something about your team or about your quarterback. For the Steelers, what do you think it says?
I, I think that it could mean a lot of different things. I mean, for example, some of the quarterbacks that have seen the highest rated man coverage this year, Zach Wilson. All
Yeah.
right. We
Okay.
know what NFL teams think of Zach Wilson. We know what the
Bad
Jets
company.
think of Zach Wilson. So that's one of those things where even though the Jets have good playmakers, I just think that NFL teams don't really respect Zach Wilson, so they're gonna just get after him. They're not gonna have to sugarcoat anything that they're doing. They can blitz, they can get up in receivers' faces, and they just don't trust him to make the throws. But then you look at like some of the other guys that see a little bit more man coverage on the season is Patrick Mahomes. So
Oh,
best quarterback in football, probably best player in football. But the Chiefs see a lot more man coverage this year because Tyreek's no longer there to take the top off.
it's never too early to play holiday music, and it's never too early to start thinking about gifts. Whether it's for a friend or the friend in your pants, you could make this a season to be jolly with Manscaped. Do your little drummer boy a favor and use the Lawnmower 4.0 to avoid another silent night in the bedroom. Then add in Manscaped's top of the line shower products to have the people thinking, all I want for Christmas is you. Santa cares about a sack, and so should you. Look nice when you get naughty by going to manscaped.com and using our code STEELERS20 for free shipping and 20% off. The Manscaped Platinum Package 4.0 is the one-stop shop for the man who deserves it all. It has everything needed to help you deck the halls from face to balls just in time for mistletoe season. The Platinum Package has each of the products from the best selling Performance Package, plus Ultra Premium Body Wash, Ultra Premium 2-in-1 Shampoo and Conditioner, and Ultra Premium Deodorant. It's the best way to smell fresh from your Santa hat to your candy cane. The Lawnmower 4.0 body trimmer and the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer feature proprietary advanced skin safe technology to protect your delicate presence. Plus, both are waterproof, so there's no issue clearing the snow out of your driveway. There's also a 4000K LED light on it, so you can light the way just like Rudolph. Now that you've groomed your candy cane, it's time to make sure you don't smell like a reindeer with the Platinum Package shower products. All of Manscaped shower gear is sulfate-free, vegan, and made to have your skin feeling hydrated and smelling fresh. But smelling fresh doesn't stop in the shower. The Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner can solve stank problems all day long. Once they touch your sack, you'll never go back. The Platinum Package 4.0 sitting under the tree is guaranteed to put anyone in the holiday spirit. And for the perfect stocking stuffer, add in the brand new Body Buffer, an incredible body scrubber that makes exfoliating easy and is a lot cleaner than that old loofah. Get 20% off and free shipping with our code Steelers20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. All you have to do is use our code Steelers20. Manscaped, get your jingle balls ready for the holidays.
And their weapons right now are Travis Kelce, who can obviously does a lot of good things against man coverage, but their second weapon is Juju Smith-Schuster, who excels really against zone. So that's kind of their thing with the Chiefs is like a lot of teams are more comfortable playing them, man to man. So it's definitely interesting. I think with the Steelers, with Diontae, what he was meaning by that is just, he's had a really good 4 or 5 week stretch. And I know that Diontae is probably the most polarizing player in the Steelers fan base, but you guys have to understand, like, the reason he's on that field is because he is incredibly difficult to play man coverage against. Yeah. He's hard to press. He gets a lot of separation on his routes. So those things, typically are things that, defensive coordinators are weary of when you're playing man coverage, because unless you've got a dude on the outside, good luck, because he's gonna win more often than not.
Who do you think does benefit the most from Peter's injury? Is it because Kyle Hamilton? I think Kyle Hamilton's dynamic changes this week because Pat Freiermuth was that it was the game afterwards where Freiermuth was injured. It wasn't Baltimore. So that changed. So that maybe it doesn't change.
He didn't really do a ton though. Like, he wasn't super impactful. Remember, because the couple of the interceptions that Trubisky threw were to Pat over the middle.
Were to Pat. Yeah, he did. He finished the game with 33 yards, 3 receptions, 33 yards, and a touchdown. But I mean, not a huge game. But Diontae had 82 yards. Pickens had 78 yards. Who do you think benefits the most? Like, do you expect a Marlon Humphrey playing one or the other, predominantly over the other?
Well, see, where I think it gets super interesting is and I know that they've been playing Kyle Hamilton more in the slot, right? Yeah. But I think it gets super interesting if the Steelers are able to start spreading Baltimore out and then maybe, mixing and matching and attacking some matchups. Not to say I don't think the Steelers should be afraid of Marlon Humphrey,
No.
especially after Pickens just had 3 catches and 78 yards against him just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I expect Humphrey's going to be pretty geared up for this matchup. He's had good games against the Steelers. I think that even the best players on your team are going to have bad games, and that was just a bad game from Humphrey a couple weeks ago. But he'll be locked in for this one. But I still think that you'll be able to match up Hunt with some of these other guys in the secondary. They've got really good safety depth. Like I mentioned about, Kyle Hamilton, they'll use those 3 safety looks with Chuck Clark and Marcus Williams. But you can match up Hunt a little bit. Like, they need to go out there and they need to find Brandon Stevens. They need to go find Kevon Seymour and those guys. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I think Diontae is the biggest beneficiary of this, because Peters was on him most of the game when they last played, and Diontae did his thing. But I don't see anyone on Baltimore that is really capable of stopping him down. I don't really think that Humphrey's that great of a matchup for him either. Uh,
No,
just
Humphrey's a
in
very
terms of
physical guy.
yeah, just in terms of skill sets. So